we've talked about kind of some of the existing use cases, and a lot of them have been around, kind of new DeFi protocols, or technology kind of built on top of that stuff, or the NFT space. What are some of the potential use cases for DAOs that you haven't seen yet, but you think you either would like to see personally, or that you just think are gonna, it's likely that they're going to emerge in the next few years?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that we're experimenting with, I'm part of the YC Crypto Alumni DAO, and we are experimenting with how do you actually align venture capital with the interests of the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right. And so, venture capital, especially when liquidity is soon, can actually have misalignment in the very early stages of a company's growth, and that could be fatal to the organization. Example here is, let's say you bring on an investor, they're entitled to 20% of your tokens, and there's no lockup, or the lockup's kind of waterfally, right? So that they can actually release these tokens at any point. There's an inflection point, early on the company's life, where the product hasn't really been proven, but because of the hype associated with crypto, they have a boom in the token prices. Well, now the investor is incentivized to sell those tokens on the market versus hold on and actually support the company. These are new problems being created by new models of technology. And so it's important that there is an alternative to the old model that's aligned long-term. And so we're experimenting with, how do you actually create incentives for capital allocators and return maximizers to actually side with the people leading the organization, not their own interests. That's one example.
That's interesting, because on the entire, you think about that entire value chain there, it's why you have vesting for founders. I've heard in conversations with some of our LPs that the lockup is a feature, not a bug for them, because otherwise they'll do something stupid with it, and so they do want a portion of their capital that's just I can't get it. And so that's really interesting. That's kind of fascinating.
But if you think about it, what's going to happen is, if you think about the financialization of the entire stack of a company, I have a lockup, but now my lockup's on chain. I can go to Maker and say, hey, can you actually float me on my lockup? Or can you hedge me on this? Right. So there's ways to get around the lockup. So this is a problem that goes beyond the financialization and goes to aligned interests. Right. And so those are things that are being created today.
I see what you're saying. So it's not just about having logic in the smart contracts or whatever that kind of presume a certain period of time where you can't liquidate. You still have a human behavior problem, because there's going to be novel ways they're going to spring up kind of around it. Interesting.
It's the feedback loop between technology and culture that really drives society. It's not technology alone. Right. And this is the thing that I learned, in my early days with internet memes, is that content is a reflection of human experiences, but at the same time, it is the experience when you're on the internet. It is almost the entirety of your experience is content. Right. And so that feedback loop is actually very powerful.